Step into the Incense and Whiskey sanctuary with mindfulness enthusiasts and verified whiskey lovers, Mecca and Ashley, as they discuss all the random topics they love, from mindfulness to memes. This is Ashley.
And this is Mecca.
Welcome to the Incense and Whiskey sanctuary. Hey, Mecca.
Hey, Ashley.
How's it going?
It's going well.
How are you feeling?
I feel good. Let's see. I just came off of a mini vacay. Well, I don't know if I would call it vacay, but I just spent some time with my family in California. So that was really nice to do. And now I'm back.
Nice. So I wanted to continue our Ashley Learns Astrology segment.
Yes.
And so I know in the first segment, we talked about general overview of astrology, the history, different types of astrology. And today I really wanted to tell you what I learned about how to use astrology in your everyday life.
Yes. Tell me. I love this.
Okay. So this is segment 2 in our series. And this is focused on astrology in your everyday life, but I'm going to speak primarily in 2 main points of our lives. The first being relationships, and then the second being time and energy management. So
I like that.
So in relationships, we know that our relationships, they go through their ebbs and flows. But honestly, you could think about how your relationships wax and wane related to the moon's journey from the new moon to full moon and then back to new moon again. Okay. So that is like a timeline to kind of think about it through that lens.
One more time.
Yeah. So you're thinking about the journey from the new moon to the full moon and back to the new moon again. So what would probably be helpful for anybody listening to this is to go pull up a moon phase chart.
Yeah.
As you're listening to this. Yeah. Because I'm going to describe the phases of the moon, but I'm not, you may want to look at photo images while we're doing this. So knowing this alone, knowing that cycle alone can help you more easily navigate the complexities of relationships. And I'm talking about all relationships, both romantic and platonic. But in certain instances, I'll reference romantic relationships in particular. I think a good rule of thumb that I learned in my research is if you want a relationship to grow, an ideal time to begin it is just after the new moon. If you want to end a relationship, you want to take steps to start doing that about a week before the new moon. So you kind of need to plan that out. Okay. So the 3 days around the new moon is an opportune time to set your intentions for attracting a relationship, but it's not a good time to take any significant action.
Okay.
So a rule of thumb here is the new moon or the 3 days around the new moon are a good time to visualize and imagine the sort of person with whom you want to become involved or how you can spark new life into an existing relationship.
Okay. All right.
So then the waxing crescent moon. So think about the moon filling in little bit by little bit, right, in our view. The waxing crescent moon is about setting aside all doubts and committing to attracting a new relationship, beginning a new relationship, or moving a certain relationship forward. When you get to the first quarter moon, if you're seeking a new relationship, the first quarter moon is a good time to tell your friends, tell your coworkers, family, put it out there in the universe and test the water by going out and exploring and having some fun with this idea of this new relationship. Okay. If you're already in a relationship, it's time to really just try to have some fun together, push some boundaries, and plan for an exciting evening out. Okay. Remember, the moon is still filling in, right? So the gibbous moon can relate a calming energy that would be perfect for a heart-to-heart with someone that you're having this budding relationship with.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna just stop you for a second.
Yeah.
So we're still talking about the new moon at this point, right?
In the gibbous moon phase.
What's it called again?
Gibbous, Gibbous.
Okay, gibbous. So when we see the gibbous moon, this is around the time that we can start the conversation of
What's happening in this relationship? This is what I would like to see happen in this relationship, like a real heart to heart opening up about the relationship.
okay, all right. It gives you a little structure here. I like this.
Yes. And if you're already in a relationship, like Mecca taking notes, y'all. If you're already in a relationship,
What'd you say?
I said Mecca's taking notes, y'all.
I'm taking notes, honey. What's the next one?
If you're in a relationship already and something's not working, this is a good time to address it and try to fix it.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're at the full moon stage. During the 3 days around the full moon, individuals often see where they need to make changes in a meaningful relationship. So that's a good time to be attentive to, where do I want to see things change? And in the disseminating moon phase, this is a good time for group activities to kind of break up the energy, do something a little bit different. It's a good time to plan a party and introduce your new relationship to loved ones if
Oh,
you feel that you're at that stage.
okay.
The third quarter moon is the time to let go. If you're asking yourself, is this right for me? What should I do? How should I move forward? Third quarter moon is a time to acknowledge the truth, address any doubts that you have about the relationship, and make a decision about letting go. The waning crescent moon is the final phase of the moon, and it's a good time to take a break, create space in a relationship, to reflect on the past and look to the future.
Nice.
So that is like the moon phases and through the lens of a relationship and relationship management.
And Ashley, can I ask a question?
Yeah, hopefully I got an answer.
What's the time span of what you just kind of went over? Is this like 30 days,
I
20 days,
believe this is a 30-day period,
30 days?
but I'm not trying to encourage anybody to go through all of these phases in 30 days, right? So it may not be like the third quarter moon of that first like month of the relationship that you let go. It may be like the third quarter moon at month 6 of the relationship.
I think this is a good guidance on, how we use the new moon and the full moons already, but how to like use them in a sense of what you just said in our relationship parts, right? It gives you this opportunity to start thinking this through, and then just kind of like, this is a great time to do X, Y, and Z. So I think it's like a really good like guide.
Yeah, that's absolute. No one should live by this to a T, but it can't be there as a guide and a reference point if that resonates with you, or something that you feel like you'd be interested in thinking that way about. Okay.
Love that.
So now I want to talk to you about time and energy management and thinking about that in the moon cycle. So as the light of the moon builds, so does your energy, right? And as the light recedes, so does your energy. So when the moonlight is building, your energy is building. When the moonlight is waning, that's when your energy is waning, is the way you can think about it. So attuning yourself with the building and decreasing energies of the moon is one of the ways that you could go about thinking about how to manage your time and your energy. So in the new moon cycle, for about 2.5 days after the exact new moon, your energy is at its lowest. And you are the most introspective and introverted during this time. It's also a time that's meant for rest and rejuvenation. So a rule of thumb here could be, do what you have to do, right? Do what you need to do to get by, but start thinking creatively, or go ahead and think creatively about what you'd like to do next.
Okay.
The waxing moon is the time period where the moon slowly reappears in the sky. Your energies begin to rise again. A rule of thumb here is that this is a good time to start preparing for upcoming projects, gathering supplies, putting things in place that will support what you want to do next. So that's like really the preparation, right? You've started with the visualization, the thinking it through, and now you're moving into the stage of preparation.
Okay.
So then when you get to the full moon, the exact full moon, your energy and enthusiasm ideally are at their peak at this point. So the following 2.5 days are the most productive time of the month. And a rule of thumb here is start planning for things, put it on your agenda, don't allow for downtime. Really start to put these things in motion. And then when you get to the waning moon, so that's after the full moon, expect and allow for your energy and enthusiasm to decline a little bit. The next week and a half are about finishing up what you've been working on, assessing what you've accomplished, clearing away any clutter, and letting go of any need to shine or, dwell on the moment. Rule of thumb here is if you didn't accomplish what you intended to do, or even if you did, take the time to slow down, turn inward, assess the situation, what worked well, what didn't, and you can begin again with a renewed vigor or pick up, the momentum with a renewed vigor at the waxing moon that will start just after the new moon. And then you would follow this cycle.
Wait, so just so I understand what you're saying, once the full moon happens, we get down to the waning moon.
Yeah, the waning moon when it starts to go recede back.
Lose energy on it. Then you said something right after that. What phase is that?
Oh, it's like the next week and a half after you start noticing after the full moon. So that's the waning moon period. It's a week and a half.
Okay.
That's when you should be finishing up what you're working on, assessing the situation, reevaluating what worked well, what didn't, clearing your mind of the clutter, clearing your space of clutter,
okay,
letting go of things so that you can begin renewed energy and go through the cycle again through the next phase, whether you want to push yourself to the next level, you want to pick up momentum, or you want to go a different direction.
I like that. I think that, yeah, this is like perfect.
Yeah, it's a nice little cycle to follow through and think about with,
did you have anything special for this full moon that just happened?
I didn't, but I think that now that I have a little bit more information, I probably will try to put some of this into play for sure. I think for me, time and energy management, given what I have looking ahead and what's on my plate in the next few months, will be like a really good reference point for me. So I'm going to use the next new moon as my starting point. I'm trying to put this into practice for sure.
Yeah, I think this is really important, and it's so true. The only thing that I find out is pretty interesting is that like usually around the full moon, the 3 days before and after, I actually get really tired. Like my energy actually decrease. And
so you've noticed that?
Yeah, I have. I noticed that. And then on a new moon, I feel like I'm a little bit more energetic. But in regards to what you said, in regards to like the full moon, like putting plans in action, being productive, I feel like that definitely always hold true. Thinking about, this week. This week has been a very productive week, and it typically is around that time frame. Once you start tapping in,
that makes sense.
Good. I like that.
Okay. So we got a little bit more detail on how we can use this in our everyday life. And I'm going to try it myself and report back probably in segment 3 of the Ashley Learns Astrology series.
And 3. This is good. Even when you listen to our segment on womb energy, the thing that our guest Jaguar mentioned was how she practices these steams on new moons, right? That was part of the ritual that she really wants to kind of bring out, and that's one of the best times to do it. So I think having these like rituals, even if you can't get everything down in regards to the in between, the full and maybe you have some little piece of a ritual that you do. I think early on when we was talking about this, I would always talk about the moon water, or making like
charging your water,
charging your crystals and charging your water. So I think that having those little rituals, or having those rituals in between times, is actually really nice. So I really,
what really strikes me, it's fascinating that as women we kind of have these built-in cycles as well. Like even if you're not following a new moon cycle, we all know if you are a person that has a menstrual cycle, your body has these periods of high energy and where your energy is down based on, your hormonal balances and levels over the course of your cycle. And everybody's cycle is different. So that's also, like unique, right? Not everyone has the exact same 28-day cycle that is experiencing a menstrual. So yeah, if you wanted to use that as your guide, like you can get a sense of self-awareness around when you have energy and when you don't, and kind of plan your life accordingly.
One thing I would say, I didn't say that, but now that you bring it up, my cycle tears between the full and the new moon. And
that's cool.
Yeah. So the first time it ever happened it was like last year. There were two like really big full moons that happened. And they happened literally on those days. And I was like, oh wow, that's so weird.
Wow, that's amazing.
Like, it went back to its normal 28 days, but like I'm getting ready to start my cycle. And I feel like we gotta read a book, but I feel like there used to be a time when the moon cycle kind of dictated a woman's body and what was going to happen.
I absolutely believe that. I think that we've gotten away, or like women have gotten away from that because of all kinds of like influences and hormones and dietary changes and stress and just environmental factors in general. But I absolutely believe that. I remember historically, like a lot of women used the moon cycle as a reference point for their own, like physical cycles as well. So, yeah.
Thank you, Ashley. I look forward to the next installment.
Thanks.
Catch us next time on Incense and Whiskey.
In the meantime, take a breath, have a sip.